Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Retrograde Mysore. Today let us discuss about retrograde Mercury. We all know that Mercury is very close to Sun, and when it is close to Sun, that means that when it becomes retrograde, it is between the Sun and Earth. It's not exactly between Sun and Earth. So let's take Sun here. So the orbit of Mercury, if it is like this, so it will be, if Earth is here, so it will be in this particular place. The orbit will be here. So what is happening is Mercury is moving fast, and the zodiac is here, and it will keep shifting backwards. So that is what is happening. Mercury will be going the same speed in its orbit around the sun, but because the perspective from Earth, keeping Earth as a stationary object, people are, some people keep commenting that how on earth is stationary in the Vedic. It is not stationary. I keep answering these questions that it is not stationary. We are taking earth stationary for that split second when the child is born, and then we take the photograph, 360 degrees, we mark all the planets on this zodiac in their particular degrees, and then anyway it keeps moving. So the strength of Mercury becomes very strong when it is in retrogression because it is very close to Earth. I am not talking about combust retrograde Mercury today because there are a lot of questions will arise. Then what will happen when Mercury is combust? Because Mercury is always, not more than 28 degrees from Sun, so it can get combust. Very often it gets combust. So now we are talking only about a retrograde Mercury. So let us first understand what is Mercury. Normal Mercury is like the want to know, the curiosity to know. That is the want is like when the adolescence is there, when the teenage is happening, they are mischievous. They turn the rocks to know what is there below. They keep digging to know what is there under the ground. They do everything. They even dig a ant hole to know what is there inside. So they pluck out barks and see what is there behind. What animals are. So they are very much close to the nature. A normal Mercury. A retrograde Mercury is very much far away from this. The want to know is there, but the want to know about higher level of thinking is there. It's not subjected to a small simple way of life of turning the rock current. No, they grow very fast into you know the adult way of thinking. The brain is extremely complicated for a Mercury which is retro, in for a native who has Mercury retro. So I have made some points, so it will be easier for me to discuss. It's a lengthy discussion today because it's Mercury. Mercury is Dhinaratra Adhipati. That is, there is no Dhina or Ratri for Mercury. It's both active at day and active at night. It is the brain, it is the mind. The mind is moon, but the thought process which runs and flows through the neurons is associated to Mercury. So if a person has to have fertile thought, if a person has to have fertile language, and if a person has to have good communication, he has to have Jupiter, Moon, and Mercury well placed in the chart. Thought and language or imagination or vocabulary, that's all this comes to the Moon, and then communication, the flow of thought comes to Mercury. Wherever Mercury, people have retrograde Mercury and it is malefically posited, they become dull, disinterested, and they are not interested in subjects of science and mathematics. They show a lot of difficulty, and then that is why, normal trend is that they go into the commerce line or they go into the arts, they go into something else. But they want hands-on experience only. They can do skill jobs, That is, they can become a carpenter, they can become this, that, so many things which where the dexterity of the hand, which is actually represented by Mercury, that will still be under some good influence because it's Mercury. Uh, when Mercury is totally defeated by malefic planets, then the dexterity also fails. But just because Mercury is a benefic planet and it is retrograde and it is a little weak, let us say, dexterity of the hand, that is, moving both the hands, is good. Why I am trying to tell you this is, I have seen many charts where spastic charts, people going through epilepsy, people going through spastic problems, people going through problems of the ADHD, people going through problems of what we call as retardation, many different types of problems. People going through memory lapse. The people simply suddenly forget everything. They go blank in the exams. They go blank. That is a normal thing which is happening nowadays because people don't have a good routine. They don't sleep well. So in the morning, the brain will be shutting down whenever it wants to take the energy back. So when it shuts down, it's like totally you go blank. So Mercury means, normal Mercury means a brain which runs fast and is able to acquire, knowledge very fast. If it is a malefically, weakly posited retro Mercury, then the person will face a lot of hardship to do anything fast. He will not be able to, he'll get afraid, he'll, that the inferiority complex is very very high. That means his confidence is very low. So what actually happens is that he will not be able to even think that he will be able to do this particular thing. So the task fails before even it is given to him. So he fails to take it into his mind and tell that, okay, I can do this. So it's a very tough thing for a Mercury retrograde and weak and malefically posited. This is called as a totally hit Mercury. But if it is retrograde and it is benefically posited, with regard to this, these people go into deep research. They very seldom fail in their research or in their subject. Very good in their subject, excellent in their theses. They will, whatever they submit will have a lot of value, and people will like whatever they have submitted because it will be of very high level. And they will not think about small things. They do not want to go into regular jobs. This is where it is also a negative thing for people who are having retrograde Mercury in the 10th house. Maybe it's a benefic, it's a strong Mercury. Let us say it is in its own house, very strong. It's a benefic also. Maybe it's a Trikonadipati. But the problem here is that if it is sitting with the 10th lord or influencing the 10th house, or it is in the 10th house itself, the problem happens is that the native will not get the satisfaction wherever he is doing. So whatever he is doing, so he will feel that have to keep changing. So he keeps changing, searching and searching until and unless he gets a good job, what he feels good about. So satisfaction of professional life is extremely low for people who are having Mercury which is retrograde, strong, and influencing the 10th house or the 10th lord. So that's how it is. And Parivartana Yoga of the 10th with the 10th Lord also the same results will happen. They keep trying and trying and trying until they achieve a certain point where they feel that yes, I have done something. But I have seen most of the cases very less satisfaction, extremely less satisfaction with regard to their professional life. They are retrograde and strong. I'm talking about retrograde and strong Mercury. They are very adamant. They fix to a particular thing and they tell that until I finish this goal in my life, I will not get married, I will not do this, I will not do that. So it will become a little difficult for the family situation where family has different expectations from that particular person, but the person is like, no, I have to finish this particular task. Until then, I will not do whatever you people tell. So this is a different thing which I am going through. A lot of people who actually you know call up, parents call up telling that when will my son get married, when will my daughter get married. She is disinterested, she wants to go do something herself, she wants to be independent. Nothing wrong in that, but the society, you cannot blame the society also. The society is a little retrograde now, because you are a retrograde strong Mercury, that's a different issue. But your parents are having a old school, and they feel that the boy or the girl, the son or the daughter should settle down, have kids, and go through normal regular life. Mercury retro and strong in any chart, no normal regular life, they want to do something out of the box. So they are very good in calculation, speculation. They are extremely good in computer programming. Very good in mathematics and science. So they can go as research fellows. Do their fellowships, go to higher levels, do their doctorates and double doctorates, go and teach also. When they teach also, they will teach only advanced classes. They cannot handle kids, or they cannot handle mediocre people. They cannot handle amateurs. They want specialists, they only want to train them. So um, the other way around, if it is a weak Mercury which is retrograde, and with weak and having association of malefics, people go through menial jobs, going through low level jobs, they will not be able to come up in life. They'll get stuck to a particular thing, and they'll simply be there. They are not even worried about the satisfaction of the job, forget about it. They will not even think about what they are doing. They are like, you know they are not worried of anything at all. They are least bothered, let us say. I'll not tell they are careless, they are least bothered. And these people who have a strong Mercury, which is a benefic Mercury, which is well placed Mercury, let us say in the ninth house, retro ninth house, retro Mercury in the fifth house, retro Mercury in the 10th house, these people want to rule the world. They want to get everything what the world has to offer. So let us go to the next Karakatva of Mercury, which is communication. Communication, a malefic, weak, retro Mercury. I am very clearly talking about a retro Mercury today. I am not talking about a general normal Mercury at all. So, a weak, malefic, retro Mercury, it is like there is speed but there is no direction, and a lot of brake is getting applied. Just think about the vehicle, how it will go. It will be screeching, it will be spinning there itself, because it doesn't have a direction and an acceleration and a stability of that direction. No, it's just like the accelerator is pressed, it's having acceleration, now the brakes are also pressed, it is screeching, making a lot of noise. So that is the difficulty what a person goes through in his mental level. So they need support. I have seen people with motor nerve dysfunctions, they need support. It's not that they can't think well, they can think well, but they cannot execute what they are thinking, because the body and the mind does not have a coordination. So they are sometimes very slow, lethargic, they don't want to do anything, disinterest is there. The communication is hopelessly bad, because there is stammering, and they do not clearly, the slurry kind of a speech, slurry. Sometimes I also talk like that, but that doesn't mean I have a retro Mercury, because when I talk fast, it sometimes happens. But in their case, they normally talk with a slurred speech. Some words and some letters are swallowed, and you will not be able to understand them clearly. So these are the autistic problems. They have autistic problems. And in some cases, when moon is also weak and a strong malefic influence, or like Saturn or a Rahu or a Ketu, then these people go through bipolarity, they go through phobia, the fear, immense fear of getting caught somewhere, falling somewhere. They have different phobias, phobia of height, phobia of claustrophobia, of or there is some phobia of seeing snakes, cockroaches, phobia of seeing water, a lot of water, then they'll suddenly, some people faint. Some people have phobia of seeing directly seeing blood. In an accident, they just see the blood and they faint there. So these are phobias which come because of a weak moon, weak Saturn, influenced by Rahu, and then Mercury is retrograde also, very weak. So If it is benefic and strong, these people have fast, clear, very good vocabulary, and they don't like repeating things. So when you are in their class and they one of the professor is having retro mercury and it is strong, that professor will be very strict, disciplined, but he will tell things only once. And if you ask him once again, he will just see your face like as though you're unfit to be there. But he will repeat it because it is his job to do, but still his facial expression will be like, what sort of a batch I'm handling, man? These are unfit. So that sort of very straightforward. They don't even keep anything in their heart. They just pour everything out. And they are not shrewd. They are not manipulative. Retro Mercury is not manipulative if it is well placed. They will do their work. They'll finish their karma and then leave the place. A normal Mercury which is malefically disposed is manipulating. Okay, food habits. A retro weak Mercury, very bad food habits. They do not have control over what they eat and what they drink, so they fall into a lot of difficulties, which will future become their problem in health, cause problem in health. But a beneficial retro Mercury, these people eat very less. They are very neat and clean. Their hygiene is very high. Their etiquettes are superb, and but they eat very less food, but they eat the most nutritious food. They don't like to eat something just like that. So, as I told, this is a long discussion. It might go to some more minutes. So, if a retro Mercury is malefic and weak, the health of the person will also go down very fast because neurofunction problems will be there, and also because he does not have control over his tongue, he keeps eating, and he eats things which are not good for the body, and he keeps suffering from liver pain, liver problems, skin problems, and he also suffers from the nervous problems of the the brain, the thought processes, and also other complications, like hair fall, and like skin diseases like eczema, psoriasis, many other type of bad diseases keep coming. The intensity of the disease has to be checked by understanding the sixth lord and the sixth house, that is Rogasthana Adipati and the Rogasthana, and Rahu, Ketu, and other malefics for Mercury. Saturn is not a malefic for Mercury, but for a retro Mercury, Saturn's influence is not that good. That is what I have checked. So if it is benefic, these people are very cautious, they eat less, and they might suffer from problems of the bile. They might suffer from problems of anorexia because they eat very less, but still they live a long life. People who are frail but they are 120. So they live a long life because retro Mercury, denotes eat less, spend more time on work and service, and they live a long life. Most important point now. Mercury is a manipulative planet, a cunning planet, no doubt. Whether a retro Mercury will lie or be honest to whatever he believes, a retro strong Mercury will never lie. He doesn't need to lie because he is higher in a very higher level, and he can manage things strongly. So he talks to the point and keeps silent most of the time, and unnecessarily does not blabber. But a retro Mercury which is weakly posited, he is a chatterbox. He keeps talking unnecessarily, spills the beans. He opens up himself and all the secrets without even thinking. So do not keep a secret with a retro Mercury which is weak. How will you know if at all you don't know the chart? So they lie very easily. They can lie just like this, just in a jiffy. They can just think of something and lie, and he wants money to go to the next bar and have his drink. so he will lie. So he will sell off anything to get his drink. So a retro weak Mercury, which is malefically posited, if the Lagna is not strong in the chart, if this third house, the fifth house, these are all not strong in the chart, then the person will suffer from very low standards of life. So a retro Mercury which is strong, Benefic, is an excellent position in the chart because they are not selfish. A normal Mercury is selfish. They think about themselves first. But a retro Mercury even they think about themselves the last. They do a lot of service. These people are very good. They give good donations. They do a lot of charity to humanity. They do a lot of service, but they don't even tell anybody that they are doing it. So it's a beautiful planet when it becomes retro and it becomes strong, because these people are required for this world, because they go to all lengths to protect people who are depressed and suffering. I'll give you an example. A journalist who will fight for a cause, who does not even bother for the dangers what he is going to face. People might take his life, but still will fight for a cause. He will see that things will work and it will be implemented, and he will be like, there are many things which are not good in the world, but he will have taken one subject and he will be working continuously for it. So these people are people who can get Nobel prizes. They get very big prizes for literature. These people are simply out of the box and of very high standards. Thank you very much for today's class.